This has got to be probably the weirdest way I felt like I should intro this video. We've got a lot to talk about, but it's all going to dive into rumor and speculation, and I'm going to apply kind of my thoughts to it overall. And this is kind of a big topic, and it's something that's dear to me, but I think it's also important that we discuss, and I'd love to know your thoughts, any and all, in the comments below. Sometimes I don't expect this video to, like, I guess, reach a broad audience, but sometimes these videos do tend to run into that broader audience. So if it does that in this case, hello everybody, I don't hate Sony, I don't hate Xbox, and I just don't hate. We've got a lot to talk about, especially as it relates to these rumors. So what we're going to do with this video is we're going to kind of jump into the Dual Shockers article, talk about what they're reporting on today. And then we're going to really kind of shift this more into kind of opinion base. And that's going to be what, really the crux of this video is. There's a lot of context that needs to be set. This also needs to be reminded that these are just rumors, but overall, I think it's an interesting discussion to be had, especially as it relates to PlayStation 5 and Game Pass, because I think that's really important. And several of the people in the community, one person individual, Zoila, has pointed this out numerous times, talking about how because of Game Pass, publishers, or at least especially publishers, are more open to the idea of timed exclusives. And with those timed exclusives, you can have this kind of concept where these rumors might prove to be true. So let's go ahead and dive into the article. Final Fantasy XVI will reportedly be Sony's biggest surprise for the upcoming showcase. If true, I guess it was the biggest. It's a bummer to sit here. Like, if this was their big, mic drop moment, that it's still rumors and leaks. Same thing last week with the Xbox Series X. It's like, man, just information just can't contain itself. Everybody's just so wound up. We gotta get the information. Some rumors suggest Square Enix might even reveal Final Fantasy 16 at Sony's next showcase as a PS5 exclusive. We kind of talked about this a little bit back in June. Rumors were flying around then. They might show it off, and I've got some friends. Hey, I won't say their name. I don't want to get them in trouble, but they said that it was actually pulled. Maybe the cinematics or whatever they want to show wasn't ready in time due to the crisis that's going around the globe. Square Enix currently has a bunch of ongoing projects in development in the next generation platforms, especially for PS5, Project Athena, which they showed that off. That looks really beautiful. It kind of ties into Agni's philosophy, which they kind of showed off as a tech demo years and years ago. And so from the developers of 15, and that's kind of where that's coming from, Luminous Studios, which also they just released a new trailer engine for that. Beautiful stuff. Go check it out. Link will actually be in the description if you're interested in the podcast where I kind of show it off and talk about it. Anyway, the second part of Final Fantasy VII's remake, and reportedly Final Fantasy XVI, which has entered into full development process recently. This line in of itself makes me go, just don't tell me about it. Don't tell me about 16 when I'm going to be playing it in 2025. Nobody needs that. Nobody needs that. I don't. Maybe you do. Anyway, let me know. All right. First of all, it doesn't sound like anything new, or for those who are following the industry, the news constantly. As many may remember that it was already rumored before Sony's June event that Square Enix might reveal its next entry to the Final Fantasy series for PS5, but it didn't happen, and the Japanese publisher unveiled a new IP, Project Athia. With Sony presenting another showcase this week, by the way, if you guys want to hear me, like some of those moments, link in the description, Twitch, if you want to come hang out. I think it's 3 p.m. Central would be the time in which we hopefully get a price for the PS5. And I believe pre-orders are actually going to be dropping at the same time. It's going to be nuts, guys. Hopefully you come in. Due warning, if it's... Anyway, we'll get into it. I don't think it's going to be kid-friendly. With Sony presenting another showcase, rumors again for 16 have ignited. But this time it's more kind of with precious clues. The more important reference to Final Fantasy XVI's announcement might be a recently created Twitter account with the same names by Square Enix. So Square Enix has registered 16 NA and 16, JP. So, and there we go. And then you can see here the kind of the tweet for the PlayStation 5 showcase, which again, you can check out. I'll try to include a link direct to that in case you don't really care for my commentary over it. Later on, after Sony officially announces its 40-minute showcase around PS5 titles for September 16th, the announcement tweet has been tweeted by Shinri Hamashinado. Gosh, I suck at Japanese so bad. I apologize to him. The brand manager for the Final Fantasy series and the product behind the Final Fantasy games, including 15. Reportedly, he tends to retweet events where his games will make an appearance. But last but not least, the team behind 14 recently revealed that they have finished the pre-production process for their new project, and that they are hiring developers for an unannounced game, which is highly rumored to be Final Fantasy XVI. All right, let's talk about this. I don't believe that's actually the case. I think Yoshi P is working on a new MMO or a Final Fantasy 14-2 or something along those lines. I think now he is a showman. He has denied that he is the director of 16. However, that does not mean that he is not the director. He's a smoke and mirrors guy. He's fantastic. I love the man. And it would be really interesting to see if he was the director of this or he had a role to play in this regards. But we still have to wait and see. So ultimately, we'll have to wait and ultimately see. That is the worst reporting I could ever give you guys. I apologize. All right. So long story short, maybe not. I'm not putting too much credence into that because he announced that they were working on that back in 2016. It's been 4 years. I think of it as an MMO. We got at least another 3 years before they decide to talk about that, show that off. On September 16th, Sony's PS5 showcase will likely reveal some new games for the console and will be providing more updates to the already announced next-gen games. The event is expected to release the price date for the PS5, the digital edition. Some rumors leaks suggest the console will be priced at $499 and $399 respectively. Wow. All right. So here we are, and we're now looking at the precipice of obviously Final Fantasy 16 and that idea. Again, if it's 5 years away, just don't tell me about it. If it's, geez Louise, if they announce it and it's like 2030 and we're finally playing 16, there's a problem there. That's a big problem. So as it goes though, let's kind of lean into the exclusivity side of this, that a timed exclusive for PS5. What is that good? Is that bad? I think with Microsoft flexing and just trying to acquire, they just got EA. If you guys haven't seen that coverage, they're picking up any and all the people they can. What other options does Sony have? And and in before somebody coming into the comments saying PS Now is like Game Pass. It's not. Maybe it will be one day. That would be really cool. They've been doing some experiments with really more of their modern games. But honestly, from what PlayStation has continued to say, it seems like they're marching to the beat of Sony, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them doing the thing that works for them. I think that'll be interesting. It's actually kind of one of the most interesting things about this generation consoles coming down into play. You have two systems, literally where Microsoft declares victory based off of the number of people who can get into Game Pass. Sony declares victory based off of the number of PS5 sold. Gamers argue over what's more important. Either way, as long as you're having games and you're having fun, awesome. Okay, so I think essentially when you start to see these deals, like with Spider-Man, with all these things, it seems to be more of a response that Sony it's a card to play. It's money on the table. Also for the publisher, Zoe has pointed this out to me, and honestly, I'm starting to really understand and see and agree with her mindset here. Is that hands down, when you look at it, if publishers are afraid they might lose out on sales because if gamers are going to be like, well, all the other Final Fantasies are in Game Pass or they're coming. Why should I buy Final Fantasy 16 at launch when I can just wait a year and it's in Game Pass? Well, now you have the option. You can play it on PS5 maybe for a year, and then you can just pick it up on Game Pass when it drops on Game Pass a year later. It's truly like my voice was like, blah, blah, blah. It kind of makes sense. It gives good context to why Square might consider this. Again, rumor and speculation, but it gives real good context to why they might consider this, why they might actually accept this as a realistic offer. Because why not? Why leave money on the table, especially as it relates to that? Now, as far as it goes with Final Fantasy 16, as big as it is, if it's a multiplayer game, that's stupid. That is just the worst. I don't want to see something like that come into play in this game if it's multiplayer based. If it's a single player story driven narrative story, okay. Then as a especially if they come out at a 400 all digital, 400 all digital, that's a pre-order for me right then. 500, yeah, maybe. It's I've been saving. I almost have enough, I think, for both the Xbox and the PS5. So honestly, this Christmas might be really cool. And obviously PS5, I wouldn't expect 16 to actually be out, but holy crap, would that be a bombshell? Wouldn't the mic drop moment be like holiday 2020? Thank you for saving 2020, Square. That's the thoughts. But if PlayStation comes in and it's a $600 or $700 console, that might be something that could easily just have me wait a year to see how everything pans out, to see how this whole global crisis pans out, to sit down and say, well, I'll just play that later. The only concern, the only real major issue is that if they do focus in on as a multiplayer, if it is Yoshi P's game and it's an MMO and then it's locked to the PS5, I would assume PS5 and PC at that point, for another year. Like, at least if we have a roadmap to when it comes to the platforms, I think that's fine too. I wouldn't expect Sony to announce it, but I would expect some kind of follow-up. You could expect this on the Series X, holiday 2021, assuming, dates and things like that. All that being said, I want to know your thoughts, and I do want to invite you to see a grown man, yell and curse and, not necessarily conduct themselves as according to, I would say a productive member of society, on Twitch on, with the live event. Link will be in the description. I'll be hanging out. Hopefully it's a fun time. Hopefully I don't blow out your eardrums. But be warned, I don't, I can let my emotions get the best of me just like anybody else. So anyway, you're invited, hopefully, to see you there. Let me know what you think about all of these rumors and more. There's a lot of other random stuff going on today, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to talk about it. As it relates to Destiny, we'll kind of cover it once kind of like the drama of it all settles. Figured this would be kind of fun to sit down and talk to you guys about that. Anyway, for Ginger Prime, my name is Brian. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you do, let me know so I can welcome you officially to the Soul Nation. Thanks, guys. Love you. Love your faces. I hope to see you in my next video. But until then, take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.